Wow, Sam, that was extremely hard to watch. What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
And this has been all over the news the last week or so since this footage aired. Incredibly hard to watch. You know, the Los Angeles Police Department in the past has had a lot of instances of violence against people, especially people of color. And we thought that we were kind of beyond that. And, you know, video like this comes out and shows us that, you know, there's still a lot of room, you know, for improvement in terms of training of the personnel and the way that the police respond to things. We don't know what this guy said to the police officers. I'm sure that it was not something nice to get that kind of response from a police officer, but you know, you can't have that. You can't have a police officer just swinging like that on a defendant. And it looks like the county is going to take steps. They're investigating it, and I imagine he's probably going to be relieved of his duty.
That's right, Sam. What I heard is that police officer was actually on some sort of administrative leave right now. But in terms of how we would be able to see this situation as attorneys, I know you represent people who have been wronged in the past and might be injured. Does this person have some sort of case?
Absolutely. This is a clear-cut case, and it's beautiful that it was caught on video so that there's no doubt about what happened. That is a clear violation of this man's civil liberties, and we call it a 1983 case. So he would have a case against the city or the county, depending on which police force it was, for assault and battery. And looking at the number of times he was hit, he's probably got some pretty bad injuries.
Wow. Okay. So, do you think this person might have trouble trying to collect compensation as a result of his circumstances? Obviously, he was stopped because he was doing something wrong. It looks like he committed some sort of crime, and the police were there to arrest him. And I'm never to judge a book by its color, but by its cover. But it seems like this person doesn't look like your good Samaritan, like a good citizen. It looks like he might be involved in a little bit of a urban environment, or maybe gang membership or something like that. Will that be troublesome for someone like you to defend him?
Absolutely not. And I don't want to speculate about why the police stopped him. People get stopped wrongly all the time. We can't, like you said, we shouldn't judge a book by its cover. The fact that he might be in a high crime area, or you know, he might dress a certain way, you know, I don't want to cast aspersions on people for doing things like that. But even if he was involved in some criminal behavior and it was a lawful stop and they were arresting him for a good cause, it doesn't change the fact that they just started beating the guy, and you can't do that. The police are not allowed to beat you even if you commit a crime.
Okay. What if the officer says something like, well, he said something about my mother and I took great offense to that, and that's why I beat him? Do you think it's possible for the officer to get away with this type of situation if whatever the exchange was, their verbal exchange, would be justified for this type of thing to happen?
No, I don't. And the people that are in these communities where the police treat people like this are tired of it. And those are the people who are going to be sitting on the jury when we sue the police department for assault and battery. And they're the ones who are going to be judging the police officers' actions. And I'll tell you what, people are sick and tired of it. We give the police officers weapons. We give them the ability to arrest us and to enforce the law. And we have to hold them to a very, very high standard. If we don't hold them to a high standard, things like this end up happening. They go on power trips, and I don't care if he did say something about the cop's mother. The cop is not allowed to beat him. And this is a clear-cut assault and battery against the police. And the county is going to, unfortunately, have to pay quite a bit of money to this guy.
Yes, I agree with that, Sam. One of the things I noticed with this is that the other officer was complacent and absolutely did nothing to stop, her colleague to, beat this guy. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that's hard to watch. It's difficult to watch. Another officer just standing there and not doing anything.
Or it's the police officers who have to watch, their co-workers act like this are put in a real tough spot, because you're in the moment and you always want to have the back of, the police officer who is your partner, and, they're ride or die. These guys put their lives in each other's hands. And so it's really, really difficult for them to get involved when their partner is doing something that they know to be wrong. And I think that you could see the frustration on the partner's face. There's one point where after the first officer had stopped punching the defendant, and things kind of calmed down, it looked like he was going to swing on him again. And you can see the female officer kind of, grabbing his arm, and you can't really hear what's being said, but you can tell that she's saying, hey, let's stop this, let's de-escalate the situation. So I think that she probably has a little bit of culpability, because she has a duty as a police officer to protect the lives and safety of the citizens of the community, and she was clearly not doing that in this situation. But the first officer is one that is mostly at fault, and that's the one that we'd be going after if we represented the defendant.
So, Sam, what kind of compensation would this person be eligible for? I mean, will this person be able to beat the cop just the way the cop beat him, or how does it work?
So in our legal system, for personal injury cases, the only thing you get is money. You don't get retribution. You don't get to, we're not living in an eye for eye society. So we'd be able to get them money. And in this case, significant money. For most personal injury cases, we are going after what's called negligence. Someone did something in an unsafe way. Most common example are motor vehicle accidents. You don't mean to rear end someone. Maybe you just look down at your cell phone. Maybe you weren't paying enough attention. You were going too fast for a situation, and you caused an accident. You hurt someone. In that case, it would be negligence, and the compensation would be compensatory. So the victim of that act, you would be compensating them for their injuries. So for the physical pain, mental suffering, the economic losses, the doctor's bills, if they have lost wages, those types of things. In a case like this, what we just saw, where that's an intentional tort. The police officer didn't, trip, fall, and punch the guy in the face, which would have been an accident. He was purposefully doing it. And in that case, you get all of the compensatory damage, but you can also get what's called punitive damages. So damages that are meant to punish the behavior. And those are only available where it's an intentional tort, where the tortfeasor, the at-fault person, purposefully did it, and the court then says, well, we were trying to deter this type of behavior in the future, and so we're going to allow you to get punitive damages to punish them for their behavior.
Well, Sam, I want to thank you very much for your commentary on this video, and we'll be back with more things.
Thanks, Nar.